Hola, buenos días. Vamos a dar inicio.
Good morning. We would like to begin this launch of the website of the 10 Principles of Good Treatment of Boys, Girls, and Adolescents with Disabilities in the World. We are very pleased to have the Special Envoy on Disability and Accessibility of the United Nations here with us today. It is great to see friends here today. It is a friendly and warm meeting. We are all here today. We have human beings here today. So it is with the same objective that the human rights have. In this case, it is boys, girls, adolescents with disabilities. As you all know, this campaign was begun and led by the Special Envoy of the UNSG, and it was launched in different parts of the world, in Asia Pacific, in Africa, in the Middle East, Latin America, the Caribbean, as well as in the UN in the 12th Conference of the Member States and at the OAS. So today, what we're doing is we are launching this website for greater dissemination and global reach, and it is therefore in different languages. The 10 principles for the protection and well-being of boys, girls, adolescents with disabilities. We are all very pleased with this launch, and we would like to offer a heartfelt thanks to each of your contributions, for all of you who are here today, for each of you who are connected remotely today, for all the contributions and interest you have put into this with your talent, with your language. And it is all of you who have made this possible. All your contributions have brought us here today. So without further ado, I would like to leave with you Mr. Mario Cimoli, Deputy Executive Secretary for ECLAC. Thank you very much. Good morning. First of all, I would like to offer welcome and say good morning to all you boys and girls, to everyone sitting at this table. It is a pleasure to have you all here. Feel as if you were making important decisions. You see this round table here? Well, let us think as if we could discuss important matters here. Be a part of what the UN offers you today, thanks to our special envoy, Maria Soledad Cisternas, who is with us, our friend from UNICEF, representatives from the Legal Advisor's Office of the OHCHR, Andrea Benavente, Catalina Muñoz, everyone. So I believe boys and girls present are our main stakeholders. So you must be able to help us discuss these principles. On behalf of the Executive Secretary of ECLAC, of Alicia Bárcenas, and myself, I would like to welcome all of you here today. I would also like to mention that having the Special Envoy of the UN on Disability and Accessibilities, Maria Soledad Cisternas, is a true pleasure. We've been working with her for a long time, and it is a true pleasure to have you here for such a significant launch, the launch of this website of the good treatment, protection, and well-being of girls, boys, and adolescents with disabilities. The rights of children are protected in many documents, starting with the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, the Latin American Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against People with Disabilities of 1999, and more recently, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Despite all these decisions, we perceive on the side of the UN that there is still much to be done, and the UN system and society together must do so. A website dedicated to this, a website that I hope will allow youth to participate, that they offer us their ideas and their needs. We believe that this is truly a very important initiative of the utmost importance for them, especially, and for the UN to put this at the forefront of our debate. Despite the fact that we have the principles, it cannot be seen as an isolated topic. It is part of society, and it is not just an act or an event that we have once a year and then we forget about it. We believe that this website needs to be a tool. You need to push so that this website becomes a tool. You need to propose and you need to work. You need to be an active part of this. And we must also contribute and offer possibilities for this to happen. Our Executive Secretary, Alicia Bárcenas, puts great importance on the matter, and I would not like to extend myself. I'd like to say that we hope that this initiative will permeate our societies in all countries throughout the entire UN system, and that it becomes a tool, as I said before. The children must participate. They must build it themselves. They need to be part of that part of the UN that will allow us to help them improve. So feel at home here at ECLAC, feel part of the system. And I ask the children, pressure us insistently. This is the only way for us to improve and to make this a much better society where you will be in first line. Thank you, and thank you for being here today. Thank you to Mr. Mario Cimoli. I would like to introduce Paolo Mefalopoulos, representative of UNICEF. Good morning. I would like to greet all the boys and girls present here today. I would also like to greet my colleagues. I'd like to thank you all for this invitation to participate in the launch of the website of the 10 Principles for Protection, Well-being, and Development of Girls, Boys, and Adolescents with Disabilities that UNICEF has been one of the organizers and promoters. I would like to stress, as I have in many other occasions, that a tool such as this contributes to make a very difficult reality visible. Unfortunately, boys, girls with disabilities are one of the most invisible groups in the world. They daily face different difficulties that make their full participation in society very difficult. And all these barriers bring about the differences at a global level, at a regional level, at a national level. For example, in Chile, the last study that we have from 2015 reveals that 6% of boys, girls from 2 to 17 years of age have some form of disability, and 8% of these belong to the first quintile, and 4% belong to the fourth quintile. Furthermore, 54% of these children do not attend high school education. My second point is that the exclusion and invisibility of boys, girls, and adolescents with disabilities is also reflected in the insufficiency of data, the lack of data that we need to address their situation in a comprehensive manner in public policies, especially with respect to violence. It is of the utmost importance that governments and think tanks gather information on the relationship between children, disabilities, and violence, because this violence strongly affects children, boys, girls, and adolescents with disabilities. This has a direct impact on the realization of their rights. I fully agree with what Mario said, that boys and girls, you need to be subjects of your rights. You need to be actively involved. Thus, our main concern is the threat to the boys and girls and adolescents' right to live in society safely and with their rights being respected. In the international legal framework, there is also a specific convention on the rights of persons with disabilities. Another, in a different treaty, protects the boys, girls, and adolescents with disabilities against violent and degrading treatment. However, the national laws still lack a comprehensive protection system, including that of boys and girls, adolescents with disabilities against violence. I would like to stress the pertinence of this campaign in the website that is being presented today, and I'd like to remind you that if it is not good treatment, it is ill treatment, and we need to make visible the situation of boys, girls, and adolescents with disabilities. It will be a true opportunity to enhance this commitment undertaken by the governments with the SDGs, which call for countries not to leave anyone behind. This is especially relevant for the boys, girls, and adolescents with disabilities. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paulo Mefalopoulos, and I would like to offer the floor now to Ms. Andrea Benavente, Regional Representative for South America of the OHCHR. Thank you. Hello. I would like to begin by greeting you and thanking everyone for the launch of this campaign, especially thanking the Special Envoy on Disabilities and Accessibility, Maria Soledad Cisternas, who has come to support this wonderful initiative. I would especially like to thank the boys and girls who are here today, and the boys and girls that participated in the video of the campaign, who have expressed their views and their opinions and their ideas. It's been very interesting and entertaining at the same time. Good treatment is a condition for peace and justice. Good treatment cannot be discriminatory treatment. This is sustained in different points of view. First, there's the idea that people are born free and equal in dignity and with rights. Every person has a right to dignity, and this brings about the fundamental rights that must always be respected. Good treatment is also a condition of the democratic system. Beyond all the notions on the importance of the acknowledgement to people or more vulnerable groups in society, I believe it's of the utmost importance to reflect on the idea that it's impossible to predict where a good idea will come from, an opinion or a contribution. And why does this matter? Well, it matters because it is a benefit for the community at large, and it is important to encourage participation of all people. At a regional, and I would dare say global level, we are addressing this challenge, the challenge of thinking and applying new and better forms of dialogue, cooperation, production, exchange, and conviviality. We need this creativity, talent, and opinion of all people that make up the community. Excluding any of them is a loss for all of us. It is very important to have the implementation of the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, especially number 6. There's a specific chapter on children, boys and girls with disabilities. I'll read a couple of extracts. Boys and girls with disabilities are usually the object of multiple and intersectional discrimination. The member states must forbid all forms of discrimination by means of disability directed specifically against boys and girls, addressing efficient and resources that are efficient and of easy access to create awareness in the public and professionals in order to prevent and eliminate discrimination. The member states must, for example, prevent any kind of aggression to children and must be heard in all decision-making processes that involve boys and girls. To conclude, I'd like to briefly remind you that this campaign invites us to connect, to acknowledge our differences, and to value them as a contribution that makes our conviviality much richer, and it allows for the possibility of developing our projects, our lifelong projects, collective and individual. We must stress the effort of having 21 languages, including Chinese, Swahili, Rapa Nui, Mapuzungun, Aymara, Guarani, Basque, Catalan, and Swedish, among others. This is quite new for us. Know that you have the support of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and that we are all contributing to this effort of strengthening a culture of respect, of thinking, feeling, and having different opinions for peace, justice, and equity. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Andrea Benavente. We would like to now offer the floor to Patricia Muñoz from the Childhood Defender's Office in Chile. Thank you very much for this invitation. I believe that this is a day to rejoice. We have the possibility of having many boys, girls, and adolescents with us, and they are the true protagonists today. We've been asked to speak, but I trust that you will be speaking as soon as we finish, because what we must thank is that, precisely, having spaces in our activities where boys, girls, and adolescents have the opportunity to express yourselves and to tell us what we have not been able to do, how adults have not responded to what you need. Chile has ratified the Convention on the Rights of the Child. It was in 1990. We have also ratified the convention that allows eradicating discrimination, and also the Convention on Persons with Disabilities. Still, we continue to see gaps, substantial gaps, in the respect for your rights. And these rights state that you are equals, and you must have the same possibility that we have of participating, saying what bothers you, what you need, and to be protected and cared for by adults. And I'd like to focus on this. This is what this campaign is doing. I believe that we truly need to thank everyone in the world that has formed part of this. This campaign needs to focus on prevention and care of boys, girls, adolescents. The Childhood Defender's Office was created by and for you, and that is what we're focused on. I do not want to extend myself. I just want us to listen to the boys and girls that are here today, and I would like to thank Maria Soledad personally and on behalf of the Childhood Defender's Office. I'd like to thank her for all, Maria Soledad Cisternas, for all her efforts, and for her entire team, the team that is with us here today. And I'd like all of you to know that a huge effort has also been made on the side of the Childhood Defender's Office so that you may be our equals and may enjoy a life of dignity and may be able to express yourselves. Thank you. Thank you very much to Ms. Patricia Muñoz, and we'd like to now present the website to you. So this is the part where we launch the website. We'd like to offer a few introductory words to Maria Soledad Cisternas Reyes, who is a special envoy of the UN Secretary General on Disability and Accessibility. Good morning. We are very pleased to have the diversity of our boys and girls represented here. You all represent boys and girls around the world. I am very happy that this launch is being streamed to different parts of the world. There are also boys and girls and adolescents with disabilities like you that are in the Asia-Pacific region, in Africa, in the Middle East, in Latin America, in the Caribbean, in different regions of Europe, etc. Thus, I believe that having initiated this campaign and launched it on a website is a true achievement. But a greater achievement yet is the fact that we've been able to translate the principles to different languages, including indigenous languages. The whole campaign has been translated so that we don't leave anyone behind. And that is what the 2030 Agenda calls for, especially taking into account that rights will flow with a simple language that is understandable by all people. I believe that this campaign and the website has the virtue of doing precisely that. It reaches all people. It speaks of rights for all. And as all my former speakers have said, the society as a whole wins. I believe we are all quite anxious to hear the boys, girls, adolescents that will show us and introduce the campaign to us live. It is being interpreted into English so that other regions in the world can also participate and understand how profound this is and how important it is for all of us. Thank you, Maria Soledad, for your introduction.
Vamos a pasar a...
Now we're going to offer the floor to the children. I will offer the moderator's role to Martin Los, and a relative of mine. So we will now moderate the children's section. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here this morning supporting the rights of boys, girls, adolescents with disabilities. And I, together with my sister, have learned that we are all different and valuable. And without further ado, let's begin. We'll hear the principles. Principle 1. In English by Thomas Chamkin. Principle number 2 by Caterina Moretti. Hello. I am Caterina Moretti. I am 23 years old. I'm a woman. And principle number 2. I like that you are kind, you love me, and play with me. You would like to be loved and treated equally too. Have my best interests at heart and enjoy life with me. Principle number 3 in French, Blanca Molina. I like that you take care of me, protect me, and teach me how to protect myself. I will also be there for you in my own way. Principle number 4 in German by Diego Puelma. I want you to accept me as I am, help me develop my abilities and talents, and give me a good quality education. I am happy when you see my strengths and help me to engage with others. Principle number 5 in Spanish, José Ignacio Rojas. I like that you listen to me, explain to me what is happening, and consider my opinion. This makes me feel safe and helps me learn and develop. Principle number 6 in Mapuzungun, Chilean indigenous language. I like that you believe in me and help me grow. This strengthens my self-esteem, my capacity, and my autonomy. Principle number 7, in Italian, by Joaquin and Ángel Valencia. I like that you understand me, support me, and reassure me when I am upset, angry, or frustrated. Often, it is in these moments that I need you most. Principle number 8, in Spanish, by Agustina Claro. I like it when you include me. I want to live in a friendly, peaceful, and inclusive environment for you to respect and support how I communicate best. Principle 9, Cristóbal Fernández, in Spanish. I want you to respect me and protect me from all forms of violence everywhere and under all circumstances. Just as anyone else, my body, my soul, and my mind deserve to be protected. And principle number 10 in Spanish by my sister Agustina Lobos. It matters to me that you believe me. I need to be trusted just like you. Thank you all for lending your diverse voices and to all of you in the public for listening. I truly hope that you will all commit to our 10 principles. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. It is exciting to hear them. We know that these principles are coming from you, and that makes us even more proud, and it also gives us a huge responsibility. We adults must commit to the principles. And now Maria Soledad, the Special Envoy on Disability and Accessibility, is going to launch the website. She will show you the most important parts of the site. The rest is up to you. It's a website that is very easy to surf, and for children to be able to use it easily. So I'd like to leave this part with Maria Soledad. Thank you, Paula. I am extremely pleased with what we've heard. You've all been adorable. Martin, the moderator, as well. I'd like to tell you that the site took several things into account. Of course, the fundamental aspect was that it needed to be in different languages. There's 24, so I'm going to ask Paula to read what languages this is translated into, both in text and in the audio. Well, we have Arabic, Nameric, Bourdiere, Karkar, French, Chinese, Russian, Mapuzungun, Italian, Guarani, Portuguese, Serbian, Catalan, Rapa Nui, Lithuanian, Swedish, Basque, Aymara, German, and Hebrew. The website is open, and the idea is to include more and more languages. I would like to thank everyone who volunteered and made the translations. I'd like to thank the native boys and girls who read for us as well. In order to show you the website, I'd like to ask Cristobal Morales. He's the one who created the website. He designed it, made it accessible. So, Cristobal, could you show us some of the principles? Principle 1, for example, in Chinese. I believe we have a slight issue with the audio. Well, while we sort out the technological issue, you can see that it is in writing there, in written form in Chinese, right there. I believe we heard part of it, Cristobal. So we see it in Chinese in writing. Thank you, Cristobal. You've been able to hear the principles in Chinese. I'm not sure if you can perhaps go to Swahili. Well, the audio is not easy to hear. It's at a very low volume. But when you visit the website, you'll be able to hear it very well. Unfortunately, the audio is not easy to hear right now in the room. So we'd like to invite you to visit the site and listen to it online. There are several videos with interpretation in sign language, and the material is in writing, so it is accessible for deaf people. And we also have the images with descriptive audio, which offers full access to blind people as well. So we have a format with images in all languages. There's also the possibility to color some of these images. The Silva Enriquez University has offered us this material. It was a great and creative initiative for children to be able to color the initiatives themselves. So that is Paula is telling me that perhaps if we add a microphone to it, we can listen to Arabic. Very good. That was much clearer, yes. So we can continue with the next part. Well, everyone will have the opportunity to visit the website, to explore all the languages, the indigenous languages, to color. There are posters that you can print out and then color them in. You have the website in English and Spanish as well. And what Maria Soledad mentioned is the commitment. What you see at the bottom, there will be a count of the people who will commit to this. Maria Soledad is going to explain, but before that, we will have civil society with a brief message on the website. So I'd like to leave with you Marcela Benavides de Simonidis with her comments. Good morning, authorities, public officials, members of academia, activists, and boys and girls present in the launch of this website on the 10 principles for protection, well-being, and development of girls, boys, adolescents with disabilities. My name is Marcela Benavides. I am the president of the Simonides Corporation. We have a feminist approach for the defense of boys, girls, adolescents with disabilities in Chile and the region. We are here supporting Maria Soledad Cisternas and her team in this virtual campaign for the Latin America and the Caribbean campaign launched by the UN Secretary General's office. Basically, we are interested in the principles. Principle 9, I want you to protect me from all forms of violence. And Principle 10, it doesn't matter whether you believe me because it's been relevant in our defense and human rights. Since 2013, we have successively mentioned and entered reports on the vulnerability of women and children in vulnerable sectors. There are catastrophic consequences, and they are subject to torture and maltreatment, especially those that are deaf and with mental disabilities. In the first exploratory report on gender violence and disability carried out by Simonides on women, we saw from all the women interviewed in Costa Rica and Chile, they had suffered gender violence for a long time. A new study from Ecuador indicated that women with disabilities suffered 10 times more violence in the region. Professor Cisternas recently mentioned this year that the girls with disabilities have 17 times more neglect from their families of origin. We have found multiple forms of violence and practices in this regard against girls and women with disabilities. The barriers with Principles 9 and 10 are found in disciplinary practices of the public institutions for the social, education, and health areas. And we propose that they receive better education on sexual and reproductive rights, and that girls and adolescents and women receive further assistance. Thank you. Thank you, Marcela. Marcela has shown us our diagnosis. These diagnostics are what is going to allow us to move forward and to repair and improve these situations. So with a positive spirit and respecting the rights of boys, girls, adolescents, we will be able to make progress. Catherine Munoz, also from civil society. Good morning. Good morning to all. I would like to especially greet the boys, girls, and adolescents here today, because thanks to them, we've been able to elaborate this website with their voice, with their participation. It is so positive, and we adults need to learn from our boys, girls, and adolescents. There is a principle. Well, first of all, my name is Catherine Munoz Hermosilla. There is a principle that is very interesting. Well, as are all 10 principles. But it says, I like that you include me. When we talk about including, it's everything. We are speaking of inclusion in terms of accessibility. We see that on the website. It has sign language, it has the texts, it has audio descriptions and audio, and therefore it is a very accessible website to all visitors. It's very important to be able to have it in 24 languages. And that is why I mentioned the importance of inclusion. When we need to include boys, girls, and adolescents in culture and the arts, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have this so that children can also color the posters. It's very creative, and it creates an interaction of them, of the boys, girls, adolescents with the website, so that they can understand the principles, that they need respect and dignity. It's magical. Think about it. Boys, girls, adolescents are part of our future. They are part of the world's future and of our country. There's another principle that says, I like that you take care of me and that you protect me. Isn't it beautiful? What a great responsibility we have, all of us in general, that we have this responsibility to take care of girls, boys, adolescents. They are part of our country. We need to listen to them. So when we have these work groups with boys, girls, adolescents, the creativity they have that we lack as adults is found in them, in inclusion, in education, in websites. It's very interesting. So again, we would like to invite you to visit our website. We are all open to having more languages. And it is important for all of us to understand that protecting and caring for girls, boys, adolescents is our job, all of our job. And it is important to enjoy all the abilities, all the creative abilities they must have, and how they can teach us. So thank you very much again for being here today. Thank you, Katy. Maria Soledad would like to say a few words. For our team, the presence or the inclusion of indigenous languages is relevant. It speaks of multicultural inclusion and diversity. A moment ago, we mentioned Mr. Nehul, and unfortunately, due to traffic, he couldn't make it. But it is extremely symbolic that he can read us Principle 6 in Mapuzungún, which is the main Chilean indigenous language. Mr. Nehul, you have the floor. Thank you. I like that you believe in me and help me grow. This strengthens my self-esteem, my capacity, and my autonomy. Principle number 6. And finally, a few words from our special envoy in closing today's meeting. As some of us say, well, we get goosebumps when we hear the beauty of these principles and hearing them in different languages and in Mapuzungún, as well as other indigenous languages that we have here in Chile and in other countries. And you can find them on the website. So there is a lot to be done in terms of reporting mistreatment and violence and not respecting people's dignities. But this campaign is based on the diagnosis that given these situations, we can work on this by creating awareness, by being positive, by focusing on good treatment and good, proper treatment of girls, boys, adolescents with disabilities has been a very important pillar for our team's work. We would like to invite all those of you present here in person and by streaming to include this in your social networks. The website contemplates a specific button where anyone can click and commit. And that is what we want. We want every person that commits to spread the word around the world, to strengthen the principles, and we will open doors for those babies today who will continue on to be girls, boys, and adolescents in the world. These principles are for all girls and boys. Yes, they are. But it is extremely important that we focus on girls, boys, and adolescents with disabilities. So I'd like to thank all of you present today. I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank Cristobal, who created the website, and all those of you who have joined us via streaming. Join in this commitment with care and make a contribution to our lives. We will all contribute to making this world a better world. Thank you very much. And I would like Paula to mention the website. I believe the website is visible. Thank you. The website is www.my10principles.com. Before closing the session, I would like to say that it has been a true pleasure to hold this formal official launch. And it's involved a great effort in bringing all the children's. And of course, we've respected all rights, and this has implied being flexible and open. And we thank everyone for respecting the right of each of these children to go about their lives. And it is also something that we need to thank. ECLAC is very formal, yet we've been at ease. We have felt comfortable, and perhaps these children could be inadequate for society, but by respecting their rights, we have validated them as any other girl, boy, or adolescent. So we thank you all for that. And finally, the director of CONADI would like to offer our special envoy some books on multiculturality. Please. And with that, we will adjourn.
Sí.
Well, I've been offered books with the Lafkenche multicultural signs, and we're very thankful. And I believe in a couple of days, these books will include the 10 principles translated into Mapuzungun, Aymara, and Rapa Nui in schools, in public schools in our country. And I am sure that many countries will replicate this initiative, will translate them into their indigenous languages. As Mr. Chimoli, representative of the Secretary General of ECLAC, we have allowed children to make this our home. Thank you.
Hola. Hola.
Oh,
Hola.